just going to take a couple minutes to get myself set up here. So hopefully you can hear me on my mic, and hopefully my music is going as well. So I'm trying to use the soundtrack by Twitch, and last time I was streaming I had some trouble actually getting it to play. So hopefully that's resolved now. So like I said, I'm just going to take a minute to get started. Okay, so I'm assuming that everything is okay. I'm not sure if you can hear the music or not. So if you're watching and you want to just drop me a message in the chat telling me how my volume is, that would be really helpful. The setup in my basement isn't ideal. And there's like kids' toys thrown all around me. But this is what I have to work with. So that's what I'm going with. So today I'm going to continue. Let me just turn my volume down. And I'm just going to make sure my volume is up here. Okay. So last time I streamed, I was working on my... oh, hold on one second. Okay, last time I streamed, I was working on my submission for the Game Jam, or Game Dev TV Game Jam, which was held in May. So we had about 10 days, I think, to put together a game. I technically done one game jam before this one, but this was the first one where I really, like, sort of tried very hard on it. I did something pretty simple. I wish I had had the time to do something um, more complex. So I've come back to the game now. My goal is to actually port this game over to mobile, which I've never done before, and I'm still learning how to do it because I know that it works fairly well on a touch screen. Um, but I want to add in some more interesting elements to the game. So last time we were working on adding in some enemies. Um, so let me just see. Now I have to refresh myself. Yeah, so last time we worked on instantiating this little flame enemy here, and he goes and finds the dirt piles that you as the player want to click on. So it's the dirt piles that do not have the sparkles on them. And yes, this was a problem last time. When I hit that light button and it instantiates the 2D particle system, it slows down the frame rate of the entire game and really screws up the enemy movement. So that's something I'm going to want to fix. But I had that working okay. The enemy is going over to the dirt piles as it should be. The next thing I think I want to do is add an animation onto the enemy. And I think I have the enemy prefabbed. Let me just see here. Yeah, enemy. Okay, so I'm going to pull the enemy prefab. Not sure why I'm so zoomed in here. So when you're working with Unity, it's sometimes you gotta always remember that you need the game screen open, obviously, so you can see what your game looks like. But this editor window is really important as well. I mean, this is where you're actually doing all of your changes to the scene besides script changes. So like many times I've been trying to move stuff around the game view thinking like, why won't it let me select this? But it's because you need to do it in scene view, not game view. Okay, so I'm gonna throw my prefab back in here. And oh, you know what? think, oh yeah, I think he needs to be on the canvas actually. Let me see here. So I have the ground and the dirt background. So I'm gonna throw him on my dirt background. Yeah, so there he is. So this was the trouble that I was having last time is the way I have this set up is that the sprites are all appearing on top of a canvas. So you can't just sort of throw them into the hierarchy wherever. They have to be childed to the canvas. And this enemy isn't going to stay there for long. I'm basically just throwing him in there so that I can work with him. So what I'd like to do actually, because I'm going to do an animation, I want to have a top level here. This is something that was a hard lesson to learn. So a second. And it's that you don't want to put the animation on the top level of a sprite because it can get really screwed up really easily if you're trying to move the sprite around the scene. So I'm going to add a child here. I'm going to work on the prefab, so I want to make sure that I'm clicking the little arrow here to go over to the prefab. And I'm going to add an image, UI image. And I'm actually going to copy this component and dump it on this one. Yeah, paste component values. Okay. And then I'm going to take the image. I'm just going to uncheck it for now. So I want to have the actual sprite on the, we'll rename this to body, and this is where the animation is going to happen. Like that. Okay. And now I want to actually create the animation. So, oh my gosh, it's been a long time since I've created an animation. I'm not sure if I need to be out of prefab mode to do this. Let's just see here. So if I do, no, that's not how I do it. I want to go to, yeah. So I want to have it selected in the hierarchy and then go to the, I have these docked down here already. There's the animator and the animation panels. If they aren't showing up in your screen, you can always go to window and then go to animation and then pull them out here. And all of these windows, you can like move them around the screen. So if you don't like them where I have them, that's fine. Same with the game window. Like some people put it up here or whatever, but I like mine like that, but it's up to you. And if you ever make a bunch of changes to your layout and you don't like how it looks, you can always go to layout at the top right screen and do default. And there's a couple other ones here too, 2x3, 4 split, and yeah, I believe you can save layouts. I've never done that before. Usually when I'm working on a project, I'm working on it for like a long time, so I don't usually have to reset anything. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm clicked on the body, not on the enemy, so on the body, and then I'm going to hit create to make an animation clip. I have an animations folder already, and I'll just call this like enemy fade in. I don't know, something like that. Okay, and then I want to add a property, so I'm going to go and do image, and then I'm going to do color, and I want to, so this is my first keyframe here, so I actually want to have the color start. Whoops, no, that's not what I want. Here. Yeah, so I want to have it invisible when it comes in. And you know what I sort of want to have before I do this? I don't think I like this flame. I was thinking more of doing like a little circle. I should have brought some sprites over. Do I have anything that I can use? Unity does have a couple of like, yeah, I mean, it's ugly, but whatever for now. Because I sort of envision like a circle that fades in and then does like a little swirly around. Let's just try that. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay, so on the first keyframe, it's going to be invisible like that. And then it's going to come in and we'll say it'll like, wait, hold on. Oh, you know what? I'm silly. I need to actually record it. Okay, so you have to hit the record button over here next to preview, and then it should save my changes. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to pull it in more, and then maybe have it become visible more so. And then I'll pull it over more. Whoops. And then, I don't know, have it go invisible again. Sort of. And then more visible again. And then I'll have it fade out. Whoops. Okay, like that. And then I usually just get rid of this last keyframe here because it can screw things up. So yeah, so it's going really fast. I probably want to put my samples down. Yeah, so that's a lot slower. Okay, so that's the color, sort of flashing there. Now I want to do some movement. So I'm hoping that this is where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to add a property and I'm going to do the rect transform, and I'm going to do, oh, this is interesting, anchor min, anchor max. Oh, because this is a rect. Does it make any difference if I go out? Okay, so here it is again, so we can see it flashing. Yeah, so I'm not sure, because since it's a rect transform, anchored position, pivot, position Z. The position Z, though. No, okay. So normally I can just, you can do the image here, but the rect transform, rotation, scale, size, delta, position Z, pivot, anchor position, anchor max, anchor min. And a position Z. So I guess because the position is being determined by the canvas, since this is a rect transform, can I just add, this might be silly, but I wonder if I can just add a transform component. I don't know if that's going to screw everything up. It might, but that's what we're here to discover. Okay, no, it's still a rect transform. Okay, somebody says can't hear you even with Twitch volume on full. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure why this keeps happening. I guess I can try my other mic. It's my audio capture. Okay, I'm gonna try to talk louder too. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so I'm just looking up doing an animation for rec transforms. I'm not sure what this anchor max and anchor min is, but I'm curious. So let's put that in. So here are the anchors, max and min. Does that do anything? Oh, no. Okay, no, that's bad. Anchors are bad. We don't want to do that. Use for audio source. Yeah, I'm wondering if I need to turn up my gain. Um, active. Yeah, that's a good question. Um, what if I turn this volume up? Does that help? Is this making any difference? Okay. Yeah, I'm also wondering if maybe I don't even know if there. Yeah, I guess there's probably a mic. Let me plug my other mic in. Okay, so I have my snowball mic plugged in, but I'm not sure if it's going to be picking that up. Is my audio sounding any different now? Yeah, that's my test, is pulling out my headphone mic here. It won't go any higher than 2 digits. Yeah, it won't go any higher than 2 digits. And 20? Yeah, it won't go any higher than 20. Well, that is disappointing. It's good enough now. Okay, sounds a bit better. I will continue to look into this, and I really appreciate um, you guys pointing that out to me. And I will try to talk louder. I tend to mumble when I'm coding and doing stuff. So, okay. So now I need to figure out what I was doing. Okay. So, yeah, so trying to do a transform or an animation on a rect transform. This is really... Okay, yeah, let me get rid of this. I'm going to remove this property. So, image, fill amount, fill center, fill origin, maskable material, raycast padding, raycast target, sprite. Sprite is just to pull in an image, I believe, so that's not going to help me. Anchor position, pivot. Yeah. Could do the Z position. Size delta. I mean, I could do something like that. Like have... Or scale. It's not what I really want. But... so when I'm doing it, I could have it like at the beginning, I could have it be small. Oh, and you know what? I just did it again. I need to actually be recording these changes. So on the first keyframe, I can have it be, and I may as well do Z. And then comes in, grows, 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 is big. And then maybe gets small again for this keyframe. So it already was sort of getting small, but let's get it even smaller. Okay, and then it's gonna get big again. And then I sort of want it to get like really big as it fades out. So let's make it 2, 2, 2. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Yeah, cool. So it's like a little orby thing, an orby ghost thing. And what I'd really like is for it to sort of be bouncing around. But that's all right for now. Okay, so I want to make sure, oops. I want to make sure that I've applied this since I wasn't working directly on the prefab. Oh, thanks and bye. Yeah, so I want to apply the stuff back to my prefab, so I got to go to overrides and apply all. And hopefully that took them back to the prefab. I'm going to get rid of this enemy. I'm going to make sure it's here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the enemy in the scene. And then let's play the game. And hopefully the animation looks different now. Yeah, okay, except we need the animation to start once it gets to the thing. Once it gets to the location. So I think we had that written in the script. If we go to scenes, or no, not scenes, scripts, and enemy. So I think we had it written that, oh yeah, my gigantic if statement, I forgot. Okay, so if the transform position of the enemy is the same as the selected grave, then transform position is true, and then if reach target, so it's going to start the timer, and then I would also like it to start the animation. So we need to do a set trigger for this animation. So I need to get a hold of, let's go back to get a couple things here. So on the animation itself, so it was enemy fade in, something like that. Animations, enemy fade in. Okay. Oh, that's the clip. And how about the animator on the enemy? It should have been generated, I think, automatically. Okay, here. So yeah, okay, body 2 is the animator. Okay, so for the animation, enemy fade in. I'm gonna have it selected and then go to the animator panel. And yeah, why is this not the right? This isn't the animator that I want. Whoops. Okay, so body 2. Yeah, there we go. So animator fade in, or enemy fade in. So I want to have that triggered here, trigger. And I'm going to call this, like, yeah, enemy fade in. And then I'm going to set a condition on here. Oh, since it's the default one. Okay, so I'm going to add another state here. Create state, empty. I'm going to create a transition between entry and this new state. I'm going to get rid of this transition if I can. Why won't it let me get rid of it? Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Maybe I'll do it this way. So this one, oh, and I need to set this one, set as layer default state. There we go. Yeah, no, let's make sure that that's okay. Okay, and then for this one, so it's going to go into this new state right off the top, and then it's going to have a condition. And the condition is going to be enemy fade in. And there's the motion on it. And I want to have, this is a slightly different version of Unity, so I'm struggling here to find everything. So I don't want exit time. And I think that should take care of it if I just click off no exit time. Okay, so then I want to, let's just double check. So it's enemy fade in. I want to get a hold of the animator that's on the enemy. Okay, and then in the start method, I will actually assign that variable. So the enemy animator is get component animator, and so that should get a hold of the body 2 animator. And then down here, with if reach target, I want to set, so enemy animator, whoops, enemy animator, set trigger. Is that what it is? I think so. Set trigger, and now is it this? ID, I think I can just do it like this. This might be wrong. Okay, looks like it's all right. Okay, so hopefully that will set the trigger. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that it's not running the enemy fade in animation right away. It shouldn't be. But let's just see. Just waiting to see here. Oh, and it doesn't like this. Okay. So there is no animator attached to the enemy clone. Oh, because the animator is actually in the child component on the prefab, I believe. Let me just go and double check that. So here's the enemy, and yeah, so it's right now I'm instructing it to look for an animator here. But it's actually on the body, so it's actually in the children. So I need to change that code. And again, if I had done a null check there, that should have taken care of that. So get component in children. And do I need to capitalize the I? I never remember. Yep, I think I do. Do I? Yeah. Okay, so let's see now if that finds it. So I'm not getting an error message, so that's good. And you know, I'm wondering if I have, yeah, okay, so it's appearing. Yeah, that's sort of a cool effect. Okay, what I'm going to do is turn off the destroy game object right now for the enemy. So that way we can actually see the animation in motion. And I just, again, want to make sure that it's not hitting that animation trigger until it reaches the grave, the selected grave. So here on the edit screen, you can see the enemy coming in. There it is. It fades in and out. Yeah, cool. Okay, so and it's continuing to loop through right now. Um, this is a stupid question, but I guess I can just turn off that loop. Enemy fade in. Yeah, loop time. Okay, good. So let's turn that loop off. And it does look like it's waiting until it gets to the correct location. So great. Let's see this again. So I'm going to get a hold of the enemy. Okay, so it chose one right there. Nice. Okay, and because I don't destroy it, it doesn't go and get another one. I'm going to put the timer up a little bit because it's doing it so fast that it's not giving it time for the animation to go through. And again, this would probably be better with a coroutine. But for now, I'm gonna give it like 3 seconds just so it has time to actually run through the animation. Okay, so here comes the enemy. It's invisible right now. It's going to get to the selected grave pile. And there it goes. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, and I don't think I didn't reactivate the destroy game object. So I need that to happen so that way the script runs through again and will generate a new enemy. Actually, how is this working with enemy spawner? Yeah, so it is enemy spawned. Okay, that's right. So it's different instances. Okay. Okay, so let's try that again. So enemy spawners hanging out over here. We've got the enemy coming in. It's invisible, doing its little animation thing. And here comes another enemy. Cool. That's really cool. I like it. Okay, another one. Cool. And another one. And another one. Okay, and this one didn't go. I like how the animation just continues to go. I will fix that. Okay, cool. And then what I could do is just throw a sound effect on it just for fun. So once it's reached the target, oh my gosh, it's been a while since I've done this. Do I have an audio source on my enemy? Probably not. So I'm going to assign this audio source up here in start. So audio source is get component audio source. You need to remember to actually dump an audio source on the enemy prefab, and this time I will do it on the top level of the prefab, so I'm not getting a component in children. I'm just finding the component enemy, and once again I'm working on the prefab. You always know when you're working on the prefab because it goes to this little like blue grid here. And that means that the changes are automatically applied to all prefabs. Otherwise, you have to remember to do apply all changes in the hierarchy. And to be honest, that doesn't always work. Okay, so add components, audio source. There it is. And I can just drag a clip here. Scene scripts SFX. Okay, so I have these like, yeah, I have these old school sounding sounds and you're not going to be able to hear them on here. I'm just trying to find one that sounds okay. Okay, we're going to do this nearly dead sound. So back on my audio source, I'm going to drag and drop that into the audio clip. It's play on awake and it's not looped, which is what I want. Okay, so when it reaches the destination, we're going to do audio source dot play. Oh, yes, and I think that should do it. Because we're not, I don't have several different clips that I'm choosing between, so I shouldn't have to assign a clip to the audio source. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done this. I'm just gonna get a drink here. And when you're working with audio sources and animations and destroy objects, as often that's what's happening in a game, right, is that you're hitting an enemy and an animation is playing and then an audio, a sound effect is happening. A big problem that you'll run into is that the enemy will be destroyed before the sound finishes playing. So I'm hoping that's not going to happen here. But that is definitely a common difficulty. Okay, so I'm going to track that enemy again. And I'm going to have to turn up my volume. I'm going to pause the music and turn up the volume for a second so I can hear it. Oh, and I have mute audio on. That would probably help. Yep. Okay, some sounds coming through. Okay, so it sounds to me like it's playing after the animation, which is not what I intended. Okay, so if it's reached the target, it's going to play the audio source. It's going to set, do the trigger. Yeah, I feel like it should be playing right away. I'm going to have to come back to that. But I mean, at least the groundwork is there. I have the audio source on the enemy. And I have a clip in there. The clip's sort of ugly. But whatever for now. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, first of all, I want to just see if that's actually, oh, I had it in place still. Okay. So if I'm playing the game, yeah, so can I actually click on, yeah, I can. Okay, so yeah, so it's blocking the raycast. So I don't think I need to do anything else, which is really good for me. So the idea is that it's blocking the pile so that I can't click on it. And I'd also, this is just, I'm just playing around with some ideas just to see what I actually want to go forward with. I want to create another type of enemy who goes and when it spawns, it um, refills the grave back up so that you have to go and click it. So it like reverses the grave. Um, Now, there's a couple problems there because of how I have the graves being instantiated at the beginning of the level. It's assigning each one of them an ID so that the game knows whether or not they're enemy, like junk graves, I call them. So, graves that you don't want to click on or not. Um, but I'm just sort of interested in. Let's just see here if I can. Get a hold of the grave and just have the digging animation reverse just as like a starting point. And I think I can probably do that. I just want to see. So I need to get a hold of the animator that's on the grave prefab. So here's the grave prefab. It's got an audio source and it has an animator right on it. And it is on the top level. I probably shouldn't have done that, but sure. Okay, so um, where am I getting the selected grave? So select grave, and when I select the grave, I'm going to assign, I'm going to create another animator reference here called grave animator. I'm going to call it selected grave animator just so I remember that's not like the prefab animator. And in select grave, I'm going to, so what I called again? Select, oh my gosh, selected grave animator, get component, and this time I shouldn't have to dive down to the children. That sounds wrong. Because it's on the top level. And then I actually need to make the animation, haha, of it filling back up. So, I'm going to just run a null check here too. So if selected grave animator is not null, then I'm just going to print its name. Just to make sure that it's getting what I think it is. Okay. So this is just basically a console check here. I just want to make sure that it's getting hold of the animator that I think it is before I proceed. I'm going to also get rid of a couple of these print statements, and you can do that easily by just double clicking on them, and it should take you to the place where they are in the script. I'm just going to comment them out. I don't want to get rid of them because they're probably there for a reason, but yeah, some of these were from debugging from a while ago. I can get rid of this poof. I can actually get rid of that because we know that it's working. Okay, that should be cleaner. animator equals, oh, selected grave animator equals, I forgot to do this, selected grave dot get component animator. So I was trying to find the animator on the enemy, I guess, even though I had already found it. Let's just see if this works. Okay, so I think that's working now. It's printing something and it's not printing no animator found, so hopefully that's okay. So let's just say if it's not null, then we're going to, I'll just write a note for myself, we're going to reverse or like fill grave back in animation. I don't know, something like that. Okay, so now we actually need to do the animation. So I'm going to go on to the grave and I'm going to create a new animation. So there's a dig grave animation. So let's create a fill grave. Okay. And then I want to add properties. I want to do images this time and sprites. And I want to grab, hopefully I have these organized well enough. Yeah, so it's gonna start on this one. Yeah, get this out of here, bye. Okay, so it's gonna start on that one, and then it's gonna go to this one, oh, and then it's gonna go to this one, like that. Yeah, so like that. So with the sprite, if you're doing a sprite property on an animation, you actually have to drag the sprites in, or at least that's how I learned to do it. So that's why I docked my project folder up here inside the scene view just temporarily. And so it's going to fill back up like that. Okay, so let's bring my, let's bring my project folder back down. Let's make sure that, that's probably too fast, but first let's make sure that it's not looped. So fill grave and it is looped, okay? And then on the animator, yeah, so we have our, this, it's the same sort of setup here where when the game starts, it comes into the new state, which is basically just like a placeholder state, because you need something here, because if you just did the transition from the entry right to dig grave, it means that when the game starts, the graves would automatically be dug. But instead, I want to have the player click on the graves in order for the digging animation to run. And the same thing is going to be for here. And I guess what we can do is put the transition, I'm just sort of doing this on the fly, from dig grave to fill grave, because we won't ever actually need to go from the default state to fill grave. So we'll just do that. And once again, I'm going to have a trigger. So the trigger, so we'll say fill grave. I don't like how I'm writing these triggers either. Oh no, that's a parameter. Oh my gosh, no, what am I doing? That's not what I wanted. So like this. Yeah, this is really bad and inconsistent how I have the triggers names. And it's really important that you know how you're naming them, because you're actually calling them with this sort of like a string reference in the scripts. And as we all know, you know, you make one small mistake in your string reference and like the whole thing breaks. Okay, so then we want to go from dig grave to fill grave. We're going to add the condition of fill grave, and I'm going to turn off exit time. Yeah, I'm just double checking that exit time is turned off the other one. Okay, so let's go back to the scripts, and we'll have the yeah, so if it's not null, No, let's take out this null check because we're not actually going to perform the fill-in grave here. Actually, we can move the fill-in grave to up here. So if it's not null, which it shouldn't be, so i.e. if the enemy is able to locate an animator on the selected grave instance, then we're going to, on the selected grave animator, we're going to set the trigger, whoops, if I can type, set trigger, and yeah, once again, this is why fill grave, and I don't like how inconsistent this is, so this one is written like this, and this one has the space and the lowercase on both words, and it's just like icky, but for now, we're just going to do that. Okay, so let's see what happens. Make sure you're saving. Okay, so here comes the enemy, and we actually have to have the graves. Okay, and I just realized what one problem is that it's only going to graves that aren't dug, or that are not empty. So before I muddy this up more, I think what I'm going to do is make a second type of enemy, so that there's two different types, because their if conditions are going to have to be different. So I'm going to actually make yeah, I'm just trying to think of what the best way is to do this. I could do a prefab variant, but I sort of want them to be quite a bit different. Okay, I'm just going to start making another script here. And this is messy. I'm repeating code. I know that's not good. But I'm just playing around with this for now. I'm just going to call this grave filler. I mean, a better way to do this would probably to have two enemy like prefab variants that can save a lot of or they can share a lot of the same movement code. But for now, I'm just going to do it like this. So I'm going to just copy the code, which I know is bad. Okay, so grave filler is going to have the same code. I'm going to go back to my enemy, and I'm going to get rid of the grave animator code, because we don't really need that, because I'm actually not going to do this on this one. So we're going to have it just how it was before. And then we're going to have the grave filler. You know, I'm going to call this, I'm going to rename this like grave blocker, or filler and blocker. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so this one's going to be blocker. Actually, hold on. Let me. And then I'm going to rename the script. Okay, and then this one's going to be filler. So these are like two different types of enemies, I guess, for now. Okay, and I have some extra curly brackets there because I was copying and pasting. And they'll both get spawned, I think, from the same enemy spawner, just to make things a little bit easier. So I'm just making sure that my scripts have been renamed properly. So I have a blocker and a filler. Not the best names, but oh well. Okay, so in the filler, this is where we want to have, so we want to have it, if the grave is empty, then select a grave. Right. So if the grave is empty, let's just make this the opposite. So if the grave isn't empty, then select a grave. And if it is empty, which we can just turn into an else statement. I don't know why I have that like that. You know what? I'm going to just leave it how it was because I don't want to be screwing around with code right now. I can come and clean that up later. Okay. So hopefully that will do that. And then we want to do fill grave. Okay. And then we want to make a filler sprite. So I am going to just rename this one blocker. And you know what? I'm going to create an enemies folder here. So that way I remember what I'm doing. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate that and I'm going to name this one filler. If I can spell. Okay, so blocker has the blocker script on it, and filler, I'm going to add the filler script like so. No serialized fields to fill out, so that makes my life easy. Oh, and we want to take off the blocker scripts. Okay. And then I'm going to open up the filler, and on its body, which is where just going to crank it up so I can see it. I'm going to make it like red. I don't know, some color so I can tell the difference between them. And then I want to crank that back down. And that should be applied to the prefab. Okay, and then for enemy spawner, is really messy and I can see better ways to do this, but for now, so we're gonna do blocker prefab and filler prefab. And I would like to have this be in 2 different methods here, but whatever for now. And then I need to set this, and I'm going to set to null at the top. Okay, and now I'm going to drag and drop in oh, I keep forgetting my bracket. Okay, so now we have a place for a blocker prefab and a filler prefab. Blocker is here and filler is here. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we got a blocker spawned. And another one spawned. Okay, so are we actually... Oh, you know what? I need to do this. And blocker instance equals null. And filler instance equals null. For now. Okay, blocker. Yep, okay, nothing's happening. Let's just do right at the start. So, yeah, we're gonna have a way for, I don't really want to do it on the enemy spawner. Selecting grave. Yep, it should be selecting. Okay, is moving is true. Okay, so it should be moving. Now, I'm not sure where the heck it is. It's like way over here. Let me go onto the prefab and reset the transform so that it's not something screwed up. Because it looks like it's hitting all the right bools. It's waiting, of course, until there's actually an empty grave. But then it's not moving. Oh, it's trying to move. It's like doing something crazy. Yeah, it is moving. Is it gigantic? Oh, there it is. It's moving. Oh, that's a filler right there, and that's a blocker. Okay, so it is moving. But it's going to not empty graves. And it's not looking, it's white. It could be because the animation is actually overriding. It shouldn't be. I think what I'm going to do is take the animator off of the filler because it doesn't need it. I'll just unclick it for now, and then I'm going to get rid of this because it's, whoops, we're not going to do the enemy animator here. Okay. And then we're going to just have it be fully in at all times. And then let's see what happens. So it looks like it is moving now. It's instantiating on the canvas. Okay, oops. It's waiting now. It's waiting for some graves to be dug. Yep, so it knows the grave is dug. Yeah. Okay, so it did. It is filling the graves back in. That's what we wanted. So I think it was all just, I think the problem was that the animator or the animation was overriding the color selection of the filler enemies. So to me, it looked like it wasn't a different prefab. But yeah, look at that. It's filling them in. Awesome. That's sort of cool on how there's two different enemies going at the same time. And I can't play again because the way I have the scene loading. Okay, I'm gonna just maximize it to play one time. So I'm gonna definitely start clicking graves. So we got this enemy blocking the raycast, and this enemy is going, and I'd obviously like it to go faster, but it's filling the graves in. So it should, yep, it's going for that one. Cool. Now the problem is that I need to be able to re-click the grave and empty it again. So that will be a bool that needs to be reset, but I mean, that's a good start. One last thing is I just want to have the speed be faster. So I'm going to actually do this because is it a serialized field? No, it's not. Okay. So let's do like something crazy, like 5. So they really move fast. Yeah, and like you won't see that. Like I'd like it to appear like the white one does. But just for now, that's what's happening. Cool. Fill that grave in. Okay, and I can't win because I can't dig the graves that have been refilled. But that's good. Okay, I think I'm going to end it there for tonight. So when I stream again, hopefully next week or maybe later in the week, I'll continue working on this. I want to also widen the playing field and make there be more graves that you need to click. It feels, I mean, for the time I want the game to be sort of tight and small, but I'd like to make it bigger, make it harder, and make it be faster moving. That's basically my goal in adding in these extra features. So thanks everybody for watching the stream. Be sure to follow me on social media if you aren't already. And I will see you again in another stream. Bye.